Recording.
No.
You got it, Chris. Go ahead.
All right, good evening, everyone. So it's 7 o'clock, so gonna open the meeting. Zoning Board of Appeals. So on the agenda today, we have the approval of the December 15th, 2023 minutes. If everyone had a chance to review minutes. All right, we have a motion on the table. I will second. My Dustin. Any comments or?
I think,
No.
and I have an abstention.
One abstention, and then, yes. All in favor? Aye. Aye. So carried, approved. Second on the agenda is, the cave area variance. Second appearance, so. Any motion to, can I have a motion to reopen the public hearing? So moved. Second. Second. Okay. All in favor? Aye. So if you guys would like to come on up, guess if there's any other information that you wanted to share and.
So I think the information is there. I probably know that it used to be an assisted living facility. It's been an assisted living facility for a long time. Just looking to live in the front with my kids and then rent out the back corner section and comes. So that would make life much easier for me. It is a very big house. We definitely don't need all 7 bedrooms, so.
I guess just for the rest of the group, does anyone have any additional questions or items that we wanted to ask?
Any talk to neighbors, any issues with the neighbors?
No, they don't really see it. There's a wedding chapel across the street, so they do quite a bit of business over there. Haven't really been able to talk to the gentleman directly across the street. You may know him, he's the Trump guy. I haven't really been able to get a hold of him, but my neighbors directly to both sides don't have any concerns. They were all there when it was operating as bridges, and so they didn't see kind of having concerns with it being a 2-unit home. Would actually probably be less traffic, but it was people in and out visiting relatives.
I did speak to all of the neighbors. Started at the baseball field.
Okay, cool.
Worked all the way down to the whole play. And in that, I found that the common concern is that this is going to be strictly off-street park.
That's good.
Correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
If
the
they have-
apron, or not the apron, but the top of the driveway has been extended for public parking purposes for the business. So that's for everybody.
Okay.
That's what correct. Yeah, by far.
Okay.
Yep.
And how many spots are back there? There was 4. It kind of looked like.
There's at least 4, but I've removed, there was a big pine tree back there. I don't know that, but that creates 2 additional spaces to the left that did not exist when it was bridges.
Okay. So they would have 2 spots
Correct.
probably.
Yep. Yep, and then there's more space on the left. It's like for overflow. That kind of thing.
And those spots would be grass, gravel?
Right now they are, I'm actually having the whole driveway resurfaced, so they'll be asphalt by the time this happen.
What's the approach to separate internally?
So there is a little diagram in the
I
packet.
can follow
Yeah,
it.
that's okay. It's pretty clear to me that there's been a series of additions over the years. So I think the front part is probably the oldest. The center part appears to be about a return of the century edition, and then the back part is in the 90s. And so that partition there would be, yep, there's a little proposed wall there that would separate the front from the back unit.
This guy split this existing kitchen.
And I had also just I was trying to the material as well, so.
Yep, and it's already all set up with separate entrances. The back unit would have both its own dedicated porch and a separate entrance, and the front has 2 dedicated porches and 2 separate entrances. So,
Oh, your neighbors to the east were concerned about potential noise as well. They have a 2-year-old.
yes, yeah, they're the ones that are right next to me.
Yeah, and that was their only real piece.
Yeah, I have a 5 and a 6-year-old, so noise is a big deal for me as well. I have 1 teenager, yeah, she's 15. So, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely working for a family, I mean, obviously. It's not possible to say that it will be a family, but it would really be nice to be a family, just because I have my own children. But, you know, I don't want parties all night by any stretch of the imagination, so definitely trying to find something for just that demographic. It's there's a lot of families around. I'm a family, and that seems like a family. So, agreed, agreed wholeheartedly on the noise factor. My little ones go to bed at 8 o'clock, so.
Katie, do we have any other online?
No one's online.
Or.
No comments coming. Thanks.
Anyone else have any questions or comments you want to? Can I have a motion to close the public meeting?
Gotcha.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
I'm sorry, who was the second? Oh, I thought you were the first. Who was the first? You guys have the same voice from over here. I'm sorry. Thank you. Goodness. Good. You're both clickers.
Then you'll know that was concerning is the penny parts.
So you're welcome to hang out and stick around.
Okay.
We're gonna go through the next appearance, and then we'll discuss it after. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So the third item on the agenda tonight is the Shell area variance, second appearance. No, you want to come on up? Can I have a motion to reopen the public hearing on this one? So moved. All in favor? Yes. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Any, I guess, information you want to share with us and an update from the last time we chatted?
I just,
Just over, so.
like I told you, I already bought the thing, so you can't send it back. Side, so I've got to find use for it. I gave some thought as to how to make it less, even less noticeable, to the neighbors. And 2 things that came to mind is I used to have a row of pine trees right along the lot line on the east side, which, I couldn't even see, Richard coming and going with those. They were like 40, 50 feet high. But I had to cut them down. One of them went down over the driveway, and they were big enough to fall in the house. So, 2 years ago. So I could certainly, replant another row of pines right there. Cost some money, take a couple years to grow in, so, but I could do that pretty easily. The other thing I could think of was to move, back. I was proposing it would be right up near the front line of a house. So it would be very close to the driveway, still not on the driveway, but very close. So I was to push it back, so it would be strictly along the garage. You know, wouldn't pass the front of the house. You wouldn't see the silhouette then. Problem with that is I've got 25 feet of paving. And that's thousands of dollars. So I really don't want to go that way.
Would that move the distance from the line?
No, it would still be, same distance from the, side. Yeah. That wouldn't change the variance.
Yeah, one of the comments I was gonna make is that I had a chance to just check it out and everything. I did notice that the trees were no longer that, you know, my questions is.
Sure.
You know, as maps show and everything like that, it doesn't, the existing conditions of those streets, but not there is really no barrier at all.
Well, there's sort of a berm.
There's a picture.
There's,
Yeah.
it's brush and it's kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So in the summer, you really can't see the house very well. That's why for those, times, because that's all year. And they're not terribly expensive on pricing. I can put them for about $20.
No, and you're also in that weird medium of like, the undergrowth isn't really that tall and the trees finally got to be that tall. That like,
Yes,
you got this little.
in 30 years.
Stuff.
What were you looking at for the height of the trees when you planted?
I can get 2 to 3 footers for about $50 a pop. White pines, they grow about 2 to 3 feet. So I'm 64, at some point I'd probably have to deal with cutting tops off.
With spacing 8 to 10 feet, probably.
I'd probably stagger. Yeah, because they get very wide and I've been doing some reading. You can't plant them in winter, by the way, because they're not dormant, so they die because they can't feed themselves. I'd probably stagger them about 15 feet and then a second row at the diagonals. So I'd require you and 12 of them. I'd start them, in front, probably about here. And they go back probably pretty close to the shed, which I still intend to take out.
Any other questions? Just in the given time too, did you talk to Mr. Gagne?
I did not, I
Okay.
did not. I was going to do it today, Richard, but, my stepmom, she's 94, so I ended up with this.
Any other public comment?
Now, or-
Yeah, you can.
So, what I'd like to do is just kind of start where we left off last time. And Ryan had brought up that the reason he wanted to put this shed on, put the structure.
Can I interrupt? I'm sorry, Richard. Can you just state your name and address for the record?
Sure.
Yep.
Kanye. Parish.
Thanks.
So Ryan had brought up that he wanted to put this structure on. Because his boats were being vandalized and he was having to pay for it. Every year to have it repaired. So he wants to bring his boats over and put up this $1,500 structure. So that he can store them in the wintertime. Well, one immediate argument is I own a boat and I have it shrink wrapped every year to protect it. So do you really need a structure to cover 2 boats or just to buy a good cover over the boat? The other thing that I wanted to bring up is, this is an easement that we're talking about. The area that you are well aware of is zone 1 acre. So you need access to the back property. Back when I bought my property 35 years ago, thanks, there were 2 approved lots in the back of the property that I ended up getting rid of because I was paying taxes on it and I had no interest of developing the land. So you need that easement to be able to get eventually utilities back in there, have access to heavier equipment should or when the need arise. The other thing that I think Brian is claiming for is a self-imposed hardship. He wants to do this as cheap as possible, as you can tell, he can't send this cheap structure back. And he tore down the trees, which now we have to wait for how many years to grow to cause barriers to the involvement. The other thing would be, well, the structure is a permanent structure, but we want that is you're dealing with an easement. You have to deal with drainage issues. You have to deal with utility lines that are going to be going through there possibly in the future. Pardon me?
The easement is on your side, correct?
It's on, I was originally a flag lot. So my driveway, okay, which would be as you're facing Brian's house, is to the right, right, it's the paved driveway that goes up. let's see, I made some notes,
The utilities would be run on his property.
no, on that, he's,
Oh. Okay,
okay,
in that 40 foot, 60. Well, to the driveways.
About 60 and drive, that's 20, so the whole thing is 80.
okay. No, I've got no objections to him storing his boats on his property during the winter time. I mean, come on, I'm reasonable, put a good cover on. And with him claiming his self-imposed hardship, he can't put a structure in on his property. Yes, it's a hilly property. He can have an access put down in a gully, or it's a large, one of the old satellite dishes that's down there. And it would involve excavation, it would involve bringing, some equipment in at a considerable expense. And he wants to do it on the cheap, and I can respect that, but at the same token, this is something that's self-imposed. It's not, it's an ugly looking structure, a cheap structure. I've got to drive in and out every day. Down the road, I mentioned this last time, again, this is not maybe a salient point on decision making, but when you drive up and you look at that kind of structure, go to sell your property, it has a negative effect, maybe not a huge amount, but it has. So for all of those reasons, and then I did talk with a friend of mine. He said, with the easement and talking about utilities and stuff going on, whether this is something that you go in front of the planning board for a complete review and proper permits to be given. So.
Mr. Guy.
Is your objection to this application, would you have the same objection to this application if Mr. Shell had come in and wanted to build a addition to his house that was the same size as his carport and required the same amount of variance, but it was just an addition to his house as opposed to a carport?
Now that you mention it, probably not. I did mention that before. In all fairness, I'm not sure what that would do to the drainage to the easement area. And just to clarify one other question, would this structure or whatever go over into the easement? Or are we talking about going right to the property line?
It would be 8 feet to the west.
It would not,
It would not touch your.
It would not touch.
The property.
I'm not talking about my driveway, I'm talking about where his house is.
Yeah, sounds right here.
Okay.
That's his property line, that's basically the edge of these. That's the same.
All right, so in light of that, okay, that was the only thing that was foggy on it. But, to answer your question, then if he had something that was basically just an addition to his house, I would be okay with that under that particular stipulation, not any other stipulation. In other words, if I'm okay with that, then I should be okay with this other structure. If that's where you're leading this to, then I would totally object.
Well, I'm just asking a hypothetical question, because I'm just trying to explore the idea of, is it the appearance of the structure that is primarily bothersome to you, or is it, what if he were to build an addition that was an open, it was connected to his house, but it was just open, like a porch.
Again,
He parked his boat underneath that. Would that satisfy you, or is it?
no, to be very frankly, to be very honest,
Be built an overhang structure in the house to do that site.
to the east side, I'm not trying to be unreasonable. However, he can, the thing about it is that this thing is trying to be done on the cheap. Okay, his comment was,
Don't all have the financial means that you may, Mr. Guy.
you know what, and I may not have those, I would not get those financial fees. I'm retired as a primary care physician. So as a primary care physician, I'm not loaded with the bucks like an orthopedic surgeon is. Okay, yeah, I've done well for myself, but I work 15 hours a day to do that and to accomplish something in my life. So I don't appreciate that. Okay, this isn't a question of wealth. This is a question of right or wrong. This is a question of going up close to whatever the terminology is. And I'm not in favor of it, not trying to be rude to you, I just.
Oh,
Everybody looks at the
I've
doctor.
worked 16 hours a day for the last 14 years to afford my house in this township because I value the freedom that we have in this township because we all pay the same tax rate and it's all ridiculous. So like, you know, I mean.
Let's guys, let's wrap it in. We have, we
Yeah.
are, well, anyways, I apologize.
And we-
Across the street.
It just also, when it's public comment, it can't be back and forth between the applicant. It's just letting him speak.
But anyway,
Kind of, sorry.
basically, if there was a structure with a garage, a door that goes down, not an open area, trying to be reasonable here. In other words, he just adds on another garage, makes it a 4-car garage. With a door that goes down, then I would say, okay, trying to be reasonable on the other. It would be a considerably more expense for him, but I think in light of. We want the whole street to look nice, and there's a couple of houses, 3 houses down,
Once you get to Victor, it's a mess.
yeah. And even down our street, you know, they've got one yellow house, it's such a, I don't want another structure. But something else, that it's ugly as that. So another add-on garage, maybe 4-car garage. Would be, you know, I would be a mess. Great.
Can't do this, guys. You can't. I'm sorry. You're not allowed to, go. It's not a back and forth. It is public comment for him to speak. It's not a back and forth. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Do we have anything online?
No.
You all set? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So if you had anything else that you wanted to provide public comment to, based on Sirianni's, okay. Okay. All right, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll second.
Todd Hope and Dustin. Oh, no. Okay, thanks. Sorry, guys. You.
Okay.
I don't have the bend in the table.
All in favor?
Aye.
Closed. All right, we have, so I guess. Going back to. From a determination standpoint that we want to discuss. Determinations on, McCabe. Tonight.
Yeah.
So. Would that just be? All right, do you guys have I guess commentary on feelings towards approve, deny? Are you guys? All thoughts?
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I've been in that structure numerous times and. Then put parking, septic was updated and maybe with the additional put on the rear.
All right, can I have a motion for? Sorry,
Motion approved.
second,
I'll second.
Okay.
It's,
Tom seconded. Stephen won, Tom 2.
Is this one of those ones we should put an additional on it that it's strictly off-street parking
You may,
provided?
you may if you like.
That's no problem.
Okay.
That works for me. There's 4 extra spaces.
It's gonna make it look good. right?
Absolutely, yes. So, you know, you don't need any more, any more traffic through there.
Bill across the street in the Trump flags and responsibilities.
Okay, good. That's good
You
to
did,
know.
you did. all.
All the time. I just-
His name's Matt Fritz.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
That's good
so
to know.
good, yeah.
so I'll read, I agree with that, okay, so then I'll read the draft determination then, with input, and as we go through the 5 questions later, I'll ask their input from.
We have to officially vote.
We will at
After
the,
that?
that'll be after that, okay, so, all right. Well, you already motioned and we made a second, so we just need to vote after that. So we see Todd Hope, second by Tom Voorhees, That the area variance requested by Beth McCabe, 3897 Rush Mendon Road for property located at 3897 Rush Mendon Road with tax account number 216.11-1-6, zone RS 30, to divide the residence into multiple dwellings consisting of 2 units, front and back, where the applicant will occupy the front unit and create long-term rental in the back unit. Where the Mendon zoning code section 270-27A requires multiple dwellings to have a minimum of 5 acres and the property is only 0.6 acres. Be approved based upon the following. Whereas Beth McCabe and Jason Carnicelli, on behalf of the property owners, appeared before the zoning board of appeals, public hearing on December 14th, 2023, and January 11th, 2023.
Hi, Chris, is the 15th, December 15th.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
December 15th,
Yes.
2023, and January 11th, 2024. And said public hearing were continued January 11th, 2024. Whereas members of the public were given the opportunity to comment during the period, during the public hearing, whereas the application was sent to the county planning board for review under general municipal law 239-M, and the application was returned as a local matter with no comment. Now therefore be it resolved that this application constitute a type 2 action under SECRA. No further environmental review is required. And be it further resolved that the zoning board of appeals has weighed the effects of the requested variance on the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood and community, and hereby grants the application based on the following facts of the findings of fact. And then we'll go through the 5 questions here, guys, and I'll ask for your input. The requested benefit can or cannot be achieved by other feasible means.
Say can. Sorry, what was that? It cannot, because. When it's either you split or you don't split, there's no.
Yeah. Well, the alternative would be that you're not allowed it.
The alternative is not.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Keep going. Okay, keep going.
The request is not substantial because blank, or the request is substantial because.
So it's just an area variance because it requires 5. Right, so I would say it is substantial because it does exceed, you have what? 0.6 and you need 0.5, so it's substantial.
The request will not have an undesirable change in the neighborhood because, or the request will have an undesirable change in the neighborhood.
No.
That was
Former rental and existing structure.
It's the 14th. I checked this wrong. I just.
Put that on the I want that on the record.
No, I'm whispering it.
The record shows that
Katrina had the wrong date. I just checked my.
The requested variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical and environmental conditions in the neighborhood because it will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical environment in the neighborhood or district because it's an internal change. Difficulty was not self-created or was self-created. Self-created.
Was business district ever rezoned?
She is, no, so this is the first house outside of the district. Correct, but if it was a new build house and it was multifamily, it is permitted. A new build is permitted, but pre-existing has to meet the 5 acre minimum. In RS 30.
And be it further resolved that this approval is conditioned upon the following conditions, if any. The one that we put is the off-street parking. Foregoing resolutions, It's offered by, it would be this, Steve Tuttle and Secretary Tom Voorhees, meeting of zoning board of appeals held on January 11, 2024. Guess with that. So, all in favor?
All right.
Any opposed?
Good job. So Beth, what I'm going to do is I will get that resolution from them. I will send you out an approval letter with that resolution. I will email it to you probably tomorrow. If not, by Monday, but a hard copy is gonna go in the mail regardless, so you'll have it. Okay. Special use permit is next, so we'll talk about that tomorrow. Multi-stepped for you. No, no problem. We'll get you through it. Yep. No, thank you. I'm glad you made it tonight. It's good to see you again. You're welcome to leave, unless you want to stay and listen, whatever you want to do, but you are excused. You're welcome.
I'm gonna email it to you and to Christian right now.
Perfect. Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Changing the
Right.
date to the 14th.
I'm leaving it as it was.
No.
All right, the second one, the shell area variance, do we want to discuss that?
Yeah. So I guess I want to make sure we're all on the same page. To me, this area variance ain't nothing to do with image or. So clearly an area variance. You've been out there, can it be located in front or is it topography not allowed?
Oh, man, front yard? No.
You wanna
It's
step-
kind of slopey and dippy and does this weird thing where it washes out to the west.
What about closer up here to the roads?
You do have quite a large pad where the pickup trucks were and I turned around on. Could you put it on the blacktop pad where your pickup was?
So, no, it's a question for us. It's just.
Yeah, there was room here to.
Okay.
So you're there, like, where the driveway is double wide, so we need it.
You would need site plan review.
What?
Board of the home requires
To
planning.
me, this,
Yeah.
like, I think there's some other options. It may not be the
So-
ideal option.
Just for realization and for everyone on board too, anything in front of the property, the front of the property or the house would require planning.
Yeah, site plan review.
Yeah, right. I guess I'm just saying, like, I feel like there's other options short of. You know, yeah, the ideal for the homeowner is to be on that property line. But there is other options, either they're expensive or they may not be what they want, but there are other. My opinion is you can do something else. There's other options to stay within. That's how I look at it, it's like, well, it'd be one thing if we didn't have any other options.
It dropped off pretty quick, but like not crazy. We could have done the like back here, the plant a little bit. But again, like now you're at 94, you know. Back here really wasn't what he was proposing to make it even garage. That's not a bad idea, but it's still. Why, so you want to preserve the 5 foot between that and your house for just egress?
Just so I can get around. Yeah, I mean, I'll put it as close as I can, but I've got to be able to get in there. Work on the boat, get in the boat. I got plans to get it as close to the house as I can. And I guess I don't know where you're talking about in front of the house, but what I'm thinking is by the wide part of the driveway.
So like this kind of washes out the all.
Yeah, this is more steeply downhill.
Yeah.
It's level right here,
Right.
but I mean, it's right in
your
front of the house,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's where the gas line runs, that's where the well line runs, and the electric runs for all the lights and stuff like that. The only other place I had thought of would be right where my truck is, right here. That's level, but that is also going to be too close to the line.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, that would be very convenient as well. He was talking about the satellite dish, that's way back here, and that's not level either at all. It's kind of a ravine that runs through. Next to the house, over the septic, it'd be fine, but it's the septic line, so I can put it there. So. I had a friend who looks at the house, and she's a horse person.
Brian, this is Tom. He was our,
He was Corey Gates before.
We call him Corey. So like, if you got a question, do you think you got it? Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Is
Was
there?
Steve Rofel in that job?
I took Steve's job,
Okay,
and Steve wants to sit through, just the assessor,
okay, okay.
88.
And I know Steve Rofel.
Yeah, I think Steve was small in Pittsburgh, was the assessor.
Okay, he had to retire from the fire department.
This, yeah, oh, this was like our, this is leach field. And then that is obscured in this picture. That's-
So this. I'm sorry, just hear me out. Right here. It drops off, pretty good, does it?
Yeah, shed's right here. Yes, it does. So there's a close, I don't know, it's close line right here, but it starts a couple feet and then it just, then it starts looking at the shed. The gully kind of follows. Well, you can see my yard. The gully follows the line of the yard. And, you know, the down starts prior to the gully itself. It's.
If I feet up. Meet this 20-foot side setback.
How wide is it?
I'm sorry?
How wide is the carpet?
I'll be.
What's the ball? What was I appreciate? It's not falling like right.
Auger drain allow you. Yeah.
No, that driveway goes uphill pretty good. Starts to level out.
Yeah, this whole thing is about, like the driveway is like a berm about 15-20 feet high. Then it drops down and I call it the bowl, that's actually level, but it's wet and it's in front of the house.
Did you answer any other questions? Self-created difficulty, of course it is. You want to build it. No.
Dustin, I also, last time you had mentioned like the Harbor Freight, the cloth frames and stuff like, I didn't look at those. They're about $400 or $500. The problem is they're not durable. They're like, even the snow we had, was a broken one. They're polyethylene, they last 2 or 3 years and the frame is just aluminum. So like wind, snow, whatever, they're gonna go. I bought this one because it was, you know, it's not cheap. I mean, this is kind of the cardboard's fairly expensive because it is durable and it will last. And it was the least intrusive, obtrusive structure I can think of.
Oh, no, I only mentioned the Harbor Freight thing because that's what I do with my seasonal vehicle. I put it behind the chicken coop in Harbor Freight. I build it every year and I take it down every year. And that's one of those things that you can put that right on the property. You know, because
It's not permanent.
temporary structure.
You guys that wanted to ask me. That's the.
Nope, I'm all set.
Yeah, wanted to go through discussing of. Coming to agreement or denial on approval or denial on a determination tonight.
I'm ready.
So, yeah, I was gonna, does anyone have a motion for approval or denial?
I will move to approve. Hold on. So. This approval.
If a motion to deny,
Have a motion.
second,
I'll second.
um.
Go ahead, go through, but just.
Okay. All right, so, so Stephen Tudhope moved, seconded by Tom Voorhees, that the area variance requested by Brian Shell, 466 Parish Road for property located at 466 Parish Road with tax account number 231-010-01-1-3, zoned RA1, to build a carport which would result in a side setback of 8 feet from the eastern property line where a 20-foot side setback is required, be denied based on the following. Whereas Brian Shell, the property owner, appeared before the zoning board of appeals of the public hearing on December 14, 2023, and said public hearing was continued January 11, 2024. And whereas section 260-106 of the amending zoning code states side setbacks in RA1 zone district shall be no less than 20 feet from the property line. And the applicant is seeking a variance of 12 feet, which would result in a side setback of 8 feet from the property line. Whereas the ZBA received correspondence from a resident in opposition to the application, and members of the public were given the opportunity to come up, comment during the public hearing. And whereas the application was sent to the county planning board for review under general municipal law 239M, and the application was returned as a local matter with no comment. Now therefore be resolved that this application constitutes a type 2 action under SECRA, and no further environmental review is required. Be it further resolved that the zoning board of appeals has weighed the effects of the requested variance, health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood and community, and hereby denies the application based on the following facts and findings of fact. The requested benefit cannot be achieved by other feasible means, or the requested benefit can be achieved.
It can be achieved,
Such as,
you know, it's gonna cost more money, but it can be moved behind the property.
the request is not substantial or the request is substantial because.
It's substantial, but it's more than 50%. All right.
Request will or will not have an undesirable change in the neighborhood.
I think you had public comment that felt it was undesirable. Maybe it's up to opinion.
I thought he should get it, so this is, I think that makes it very show himself.
Well, okay. Any
Because
supporting,
it certainly doesn't follow the aesthetics of the property. So what the plan structure is.
But it's not the question of the structure is allowed, cardboard, you're allowed to build that on your RA5.
So the question is, what's the question, Richard?
the request will have an undesirable change in the neighborhood because.
So it's a little ambiguous.
It's just, okay, it's RA1.
Definition
Said
of desire.
You can consider this visual aesthetics as part of that.
The requested variance will have an adverse effect, impact on the physical and environmental conditions in the neighborhood, or will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical and environmental conditions. It's a small structure, I would say that it does not have an adverse effect. Difficulty was not self-created or was self-created. Self-created. And be it further resolved that this approval is conditioned upon the following conditions. The foregoing resolution was offered by Steve Tudhope and seconded by Tom Voorhees at a meeting of the zoning board of appeals held on January 11, 2024. Following discussion, roll call vote was taken, so I guess all in favor. Aye.
Wait, all in favor of denying? How are we doing this one?
Oh,
Yeah, this is you're
I would go down the row and.
Okay, so pull them.
Yeah.
Okay,
Motion is to deny.
okay.
Just in the night, a roll call.
Okay.
So,
So Chris Mahood,
aye,
okay.
Dustin, nay.
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
We need to, help with all those things.
No, you don't have to read that. I would just note for the record that it's, there being 3 ayes and 1 nay, the motion to deny carries.
Okay. Thank you.
Um,
It'd be the same thing, Brian. I'll send you what they went through along with the letter. I'll email it to you and mail it in the hard copy in the mail. Thank you. Thank you.
Drops off. Right there. Like this whole thing gets do we have?
I think you're at a public comment, general discussion.
Go.
That's where you are.
Right on the property line, right where those trees were. You know,
So if this dartboard actually,
Wait, hold on. Well, now in the part of the meeting, you are at public comment for actually zoning board.
you can critique us.
It's always on there. Every meeting has a public comment.
this was gonna
Oh,
be a lose either way because I was getting a highly picked up name. It's dying.
okay. Unfortunately, their job was to consider the variance. So that's where it is. So
Do you have
like I
any-
said, I'll send it out.
Is any general discussion or public comment?
Well, as far as upcoming meetings, I'll let you know, you do not have anything as of now. And I left my,
Like the special permit, 1 point.
yep, that'll be at the town board meeting at the end of the month by Brian.
Thanks, gentlemen.
So that'll be at the end. So
Thanks.
you're welcome, Brian. You take care, drive safely. I will, depending on how town board goes with that, the next meeting, this individual would be present whenever we have an agenda item.
But we haven't had anything submitted.
So far, so good. And to keep,
End of,
so, yeah, I don't have anything. So what's gonna happen is if there is a meeting for me from the end of January to the beginning of May, Michelle Booth has to fill in and or Bonnie. I have to talk to Bonnie. I will be in an EMT course that runs Tuesday and Thursday nights. Unfortunately, that was the only way to make it work. And it's hybrid, but I think the hybrid part will be Tuesday, unfortunately, not Thursday. So Michelle will fill in. I think she knows what she's doing.
He was ours.
Yes, exactly. So I appreciate her doing that for me.
Motion adjourned.
Oh, I like that. The go motion. That was Tudhope.
Second.
Okay, Dustin.
all right, all in favor?
2, 1, 7:48. Hold on, you're almost.